One of the ways that Christians have used scripture in politics from the beginning of this country's history is an understanding that our human governments are ultimately subject to the judgment of God and that we are accountable to God for the things that we do with the resources that we have. We have failed in the past sometimes to know what God would have us do in our politics, but we have pretty consistently had this idea that what we do matters. It's not separate from spiritual life. It's a part of our spiritual life. We've also seen some of the greatest movements towards justice in our country's history have used scripture. So the beginning of the 20th century movements to provide protections for workers, to care for orphans and widows, were often motivated by Christians who said, this is what the prophets told us to do, to care for the most vulnerable, including the civil rights movement, which used scripture often to talk about God's heart for the impoverished, for the oppressed, but really importantly, I think also to say, not just that God cares about those things, and scripture shows that, but they often went to the end of the story. They went to the book of Revelation and said, Christ is returning to make all things new. And that return of Christ did not mean for them, we disengage from politics. Oh, Christ is coming to fix everything, so why do we have to put any effort in? No, they said, because Christ is returning to make all things new, to redeem and restore creation, to give us relationship with him and with each other that is perfect again, we then can work really faithfully for glimpses of that redemption and restoration here and now. And we don't need to be tempted to use unjust means